Dearest gentle viewers, welcome back to my valley. Today we're stepping beyond the hustle and bustle of the biomes to explore the Cane and Clover Farmstead, where every harvest begins. What started as a modest garden quickly became a full, living landscape. Intentional, efficient, functional, and a little cozy. Let's take a walk, shall we? The entire farm and each plot was designed with symmetry in mind. So I started with my pathing to really frame out the island. You'll also see that some of the plots were already in progress, and that is because this is in fact a rebuild after accidentally deleting my original farm. Yeah, that is a thing that happened. After grieving my deleted island, I used the ancient gardener outlines to plan out each one of my produce plots. Try saying that 10 times fast. In case you're wondering, my island isn't divided by DLC and is instead divided by produce type, using the collections menu as my guide. After counting all of our fruits, vegetables, grains, and everything else that we grow in the game, I knew that dividing the island into quadrants was going to give me the exact amount of space I would need, at least for what we have in the game at the moment. Although I am a big fan of balance and symmetry, I never want things to feel too perfect. So as I plan and plot, I also place decor just to get a sense of how my marquee pieces, in this case all of my crops, will fit around some of the more organic elements. So I went in with my stream and my ponds and wanted to make sure that everything felt right before really getting into the thick of decorating. I also knew I wanted to create a few natural elements because the island is a blank slate. So again, a stream running down the middle with small bridges, creating a pond. This was actually my first time working with the river kit, so that was a fun little challenge. But I wanted to add these organic elements to really bring the landscape to life and not solely rely on my crops. Although I do go in later and tweak and repeat, for the most part I felt satisfied with these placements, and I went into now setting up the staging area for what would be all of my decorative elements. I started with two buildings, the Pixie Dust Mill and what I affectionately call the Hobbit House. However, my staging area essentially is me filtering by everything brown, red, and orange because I knew that is what I wanted to bring into my farmstead, and laying them out so that I could see all of the elements that I would be playing with. And then as I go through my menu, placing items that I think will work for the vision that I have. As I'm placing decor, I'm also placing a ton of foliage because I really needed to see my color palette come to life just to make sure there was a visual balance. You'll see that at the corner of each plot, I also placed a small wooden folding table. And my original intention was for these tables to hold seeds so that it would indicate what is being grown in each plot, but also a way to quickly grab seeds if I need to replant anything. I decided against this. However, I still kind of like the idea, so it might be something I revisit down the line in another capacity. All of my pathing is 2 tiles wide with the exception of the middle, which had to be 1 tile wide just to make sure the island was even. So I spent a lot of time zhuzhing this area since it would serve as a sort of centerpiece for the vegetable side of my farm island. Once I perfected the foliage for that area, it kind of set the tone for everything else and let me know where I should thread other colors. I also went in with my storage chest, but as you'll see when we do the walkthrough, the placement of my storage chest also changed, just as the placement of those tables changes. From this point on, I'm decorating strictly on vibes because I knew what I wanted the farmstead to feel like. I used my staging area as my guide, pulling out items and placing them and seeing what feels good and just testing different areas. I wasn't looking for perfection, just to see what works, because the farm needed to be functional and efficient and look good. So as I played with all of the rustic elements, I also continued to play with the foliage, just tweaking and repeating as I went along. If you follow me across my socials, then you'll probably know that the interior of my pixel mill is decorated and styled as an indoor farmer's market. By the way, if you're not following my other socials, you should. Please and thank you. However, because I had this interior farmer's market, which was inspired by Steph Lenara here on YouTube, I wanted to make sure the exterior also reflected this shopping area. Now, when I chose to place the Hobbit house here, which is already decorated on the inside, by the way, it was with the thinking that this is the home of the family that owns the farm, or maybe the groundskeeper home. And so it felt like the perfect addition to this space. By the time we do the walkthrough, you'll see that I've changed out this building. However, I love the way it made the farm feel at the time that I was putting this together. A couple of years ago, my family and I went to a farm, and so I drew some inspiration from that experience and wanted to create seating areas where you would enjoy apple cider donuts and hot chocolate, and so that this wouldn't just be a functional farm, but that it would also feel like a destination. I alternate between decorating with large marquee pieces that designate seating areas and vendors and things of that nature, and then going in and placing details, because sometimes the details just come to mind so vividly, I have to just go in and do them as I see them in that moment. And the foliage is part of those details for me. I like creating small clusters of 2 and 3 to really either frame out a pathway or complete a vignette so that the whole thing wouldn't feel disjointed. Once I got to a comfortable, creative place, so not completing the island, but just a solid stopping point, I ran around the island just to make sure it captured the flow and feel that I wanted, so that before I get into seating and planting, I could make sure the layout would work for me. After a couple more hours of revising and editing and correcting a few mistakes, the Cane Clover Farmstead was finally complete. Every final detail was chosen to create rhythm without the farm feeling too manicured. So a mushroom here, a barrel there, to keep everything feeling alive. I grouped everything by category, with the entire top half being vegetables and the bottom being fruits and grains, and then planted them in alphabetical order to make it easier for me to remember what is planted where. The island now also serves as my seed storage, so all of the seeds that I own can be found in the chest corresponding with where they're planted. You'll also see, as I mentioned earlier, that I removed the corner tables so that all of the plots would be a perfect 6 by 6. Here is where you'll see the biggest change to my island because it's no longer where the Hobbit house is, and instead I replaced it with Owl's Toy Barn. This recently came into my recommended in the premium shop alongside the Hobbs family farm stand, and I knew I had to accommodate these two items. At the moment, all of my greens and fruit fit in this one quadrant, which really allowed me to use the final quadrant for decorating. This is the only area, the grains, with the exception of the wheat and sugarcane, that shares plots. So 4 of the plots are 2 grains each. Sugarcane and wheat being my most used grains, I felt like they deserved plots of their own. Just as I did with the vegetable area, each of the plots is flanked by a table displaying the seeds, as well as a storage chest that holds additional seeds as well as any harvest that I may do. I also decided to incorporate some critter housers just to bring a bit of life to the area. I didn't want harvesting to feel like a grind or a slog. I wanted the Cane and Clover Farmstead to feel dynamic, rich, and alive. So accents like the critter houses, but also the foliage choices, every barrel, every lamppost, every archway, all of these details come together in a way that makes the farmstead more than just a really well-organized set of crop plots. As I stated, the goal was balance. Practical enough for daily farming, yet refined enough to feel like it's part of a grand estate. So think country symmetry meets cozy precision. The pathways are intentionally wide enough for both function and beauty, guiding the eye, not just the feet. And each square represents a different discipline of the valley's harvest, all unified to create this lived-in, vibrant environment. Choosing the name Cane and Clover for the farm is reflective of both the ethos and Lady Danbury lore. Her cane wasn't known simply for walking, but it was a rhythmic reminder and a declaration of her presence and strength. It's that same strength and structure that I wanted reflected in the design of my farmstead. Thank you for joining me for this stroll through my pride and joy. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.